Good morning, good morning. Big up everybody. I hope you're well, how you're doing. Hope you're enjoying your day so far. It's one of those things and one of those times. Again, there's lots of talk been going on in the media. They've reported so many different things this week alone. If you look at some of the news that is coming out, yesterday was D-Day. But what happened yesterday? It was just another day. It was not special. It was nothing like what they built it up to be. And is the media just creating reports and narratives because they are grasping at straws? They don't know what actually is happening. What is really going on? Can we all say that we know for sure that everything that they are putting out there is actual fact checked, research done, or is it just hearsay? Is it just someone's interpretation of the situation? And we could all go through the interpretation, guys, because you know what? It's really interesting, all the things that have been said. And if we look back to all the different press conferences that have happened this season, there were so many questions asked of Eric Ten Hag, and so many questions, so many reports came out. Every single time there was an issue, there was problems, but you never know what's going on because at the same time, they've been keeping things on the wrap, this new management, and there's a lot of uncertainty for whatever it is. And a lot of people tend to think that because there's uncertainty means it's a negative. Or, some people might be like me, optimistic and think it can be a future positive because at the end of the day, no one actually knows. And a lot of people are speculating. The media is speculating. We are speculating. But at the same time, have we all concrete facts? No, we don't. We're going based off hearsay, reports, some intelligent research by people who are close in the industry as well. And at the same time, while we're going through all of these things, we all have to realize that, it's just information, it's possibilities, right? And while it could be likely that Eric Ten Hag may not be the manager next season, it's also pretty likely that Eric Ten Hag could be the manager last season. I mean, there was plenty times he was asked in press conferences whether or not he is working with Ineos, and there was many times where he stated clearly, Ineos, they have said they're going to back me, they want to work with me, and we're planning for the future. Is this true or is this not true? But then there are reports saying that it's possibly true. What he said is true. But then there are also reports stating that, maybe Ineos are just saying these things to Eric Ten Hag to pacify him, and then they're going to, go behind his back and hire a new manager and fire him anyway. And while that's really possible, at the same time, we don't know for sure. We really do not know, guys. And the media doesn't know any better. You know, at the same time, if we go back to January, when he had this interview with the reporter, and the reporter said to Eric Ten Hag, we need United in turmoil so we can write the big headlines. You know, United sells the news. So are we going to trust every single story that has been coming out of the media recently? Because for me, it's just been a hype this week. It's been today is D-Day. It's decision done in 48 hours. Then 2 days later, delayed decision. And Friday was D-Day and it was delayed again. What's going on? But you're hearing talks about signings. You hear a bid for João Neves, 58 million has been made. A bid has went in for Benjamin Sesko in the tune of 40 million plus add-ons. Is that true? Bid has gone in for Lenny Euro, 51 million. What's going on? You're hearing all these things happening. And for lack of a better terminology, I can't help but think possibility. Sorry about that, guys. I can't help but think about the possibility that what Eric Ten Hag was saying to the media was true. And I don't know if you guys share my opinion or share my concerns, but at the same time, I would like to hear what you guys are thinking. And for me, it's just interesting because he said they planned for who they're going to bring in there. They reviewed the squad, they had their meetings and their talks, they met with frequently. And we're seeing that certain players, you're hearing bids are coming through. I mean, it's still 8 days away from the January window opening. I mean, the summer window opening. So at the same time, we know it's in line with the start of the Euros. Could there be some contracts signed on the opening day from Manchester United? Could there be some targets coming in? Guys, let's explore these theories because there's lots of talks and rumors going on. Big up, it's your boy MarkN, MUFC fan, and for all my buddies in the chat, big up to all of you joining me. Thanks for being here. Big up to you guys on X. Don't forget to smash a like and give a like retweet. And you guys, don't forget to get the subscribes up on the road to 300 subs. Big up, guys. I know we can get there if everyone just, take this time to check and see their subscribe. Let's You're welcome to join. Let's get the show on the road, guys. Big up, guys. What are your thoughts? Get in. Let me know what you're thinking because you know what? Let's examine one or two of the reports that are coming through right now. And there's one coming up from One Football. Manchester United are expected to sign a target before the end of June. And, let's see what they're talking about because, there are lots of targets that we're expected to sign. You've been hearing rumors of Lenny Yoro. There's been rumors of Jared Brantwaite. There's also been rumors, of a lot of different players coming in. So let's hear what this article has to say. And let's see what they're talking about, guys, because it's pretty interesting. Right, Manchester United is expected to sign a target. Manchester United are expecting to get the deal over the line for the signature of Everton defender Jared Brantwaite before the end of June, according to Liverpool Echo. Liverpool Echo again. Brantwaite failed to make the cut for England's European Championship squad, with Gareth Southgate opting for the experience of Lewis Dunk. The omission from the England squad has complicated matters for Everton, who are desperate not to lose him for a cut price fee. Everton want at least 75 million from his sale, but they need their funds to be before the 30th of June has strengthened Manchester United's position as they chase down Brantwaite's signature. The Old Trafford outfit are expecting now to sign the defender from Everton before the end of the month. Brantwaite not making the England squad has allowed Manchester United to try to push ahead with their pursuit of the defender. Everton are insistent that they will not be bullied into accepting a lesser fee for the 21-year-old despite their need for sales before the end of the month. However, Manchester United are aware of their precarious financial situation and are keen to take advantage of it in the next few weeks. Guys, what are your thoughts? Let me know what you're thinking. I might not be one of those guys that is hugely interested in having Jared Brantwaite come to the club because I think there are better options, possibly like the likes of Lenny Yoro coming through. It is said that, they're open to a much lesser sale value for his signature. And this is coming from a report in France at the moment. And I'm going to bring this to you right now so you guys can get a little bit of what is possibly happening. Now, as you know, guys, there's a huge competition for this youngster's signature because he's also wanted by Real Madrid. And now this is the interesting situation here, and I'm going to bring another interesting target information out to you guys as well. Man United want to sign the ambitious 18-year-old wonder kid. The club is open to a £34 million sale as per reports. And Manchester United remain in the race to sign the little defender. As according to L'Equipe, the 18-year-old centre-back has a brilliant start to the season 23-24's campaign with Les Dongers, but his performances dipped during the back end of the season. Despite this, he's highly valued among elite European clubs. Euro probably reportedly prefers a move to Real Madrid, but United have not given up on signing him. The Red Devils remain in the pursuit of the highly rated teenager, while Paris Saint-Germain are also optimistic about securing a deal for the central defender. Euro will be in the final year of his contract in the next month. Previously, Lille valued him at £51 million, but are now prepared to accept £34 million for his summer exit. Euro will be good going in a long-term signing sense of the word. The Red Devils are set to part ways with Raphael Varane when his contract expires on the 30th of this month. and the focus could be on signing an emerging centre back over an established star on big wages. Euro would fit right into the club's requirement. The Frenchman is strong ball playing centre back, and he has the passing accuracy of 92% in Ligue 1 last season. The youngster also won 63% of his duels with 3 clearances and 4 recoveries per game. He lost possession only just 5.3 occasions per outing for Les Dongers. Euro has an attributes which are quite similar to Varane. He's relatively inexperienced after all, just one full season, but his potential has become an elite centre back is very likely. Guys, what are your thoughts about this? Get in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. I think Manchester United are going to be pushing ahead with signings. They're going to be interested in getting people to come in and bring and bolster the squad, because at the end of the day, it was always going to be a situation where we needed to rebuild the squad. For the last 10 years, guys, I'm not sure if you guys have also paid attention to this fact, but we have certainly never bolstered our squad. We have sold players in the first team, but have we actually replaced them as well as add players to the bench who can be their competition? And I would like to say that we may not have done that. Especially in recent seasons, we've seen that we've, moved on Cristiano Ronaldo and some left backs, and as well as some midfielders, the likes of Paul Pogba. And have we truly replaced these targets? We may have gotten in, Hoyland recently, but Anthony Martial is leaving, and we only had 2 strikers. When Ronaldo was here, we had 3. There was also Cavani. So there's a problem right now with the squad. There's a lot of imbalance. The drop off is really huge. When you look part from the starting 11 and you look at what's coming off the bench. And at the same time, I'm not trying to downplay the situation, because we did have a poor season. We still have to look at the facts, and the simple fact of there's not real competition, and especially with the amount of injuries we had this season. When you look at the first team who were actually starting and fit and available, they had to be training against the likes of under 21s and under 18s just to keep that competition. The levels are not going to be the same. So there's always going to be some varying reasons as to why this is happening and why that is happening, and what is possible and what is not possible. But you know what, guys? We don't have the excuse of that. Being Manchester United, everyone certainly says that we must win. And so doing, we must do better. We must always improve. And this is why the progress and, the progression from the first season to the second season would seem like it was tragically not apparent. At the same time, we won a bigger trophy this season having a poor league campaign than last season, which is not an excuse. But you have to look at the perspective where this team is in a phase of growth. We're not the finished article. We've been in a rebuild, despite how people want to look at the rebuild. It's real. The reality is we are in a rebuild and have been in a rebuild since Eric Ten Hag came in. Maybe not in the perfect sense of the structure of a rebuild, because we really didn't. We should have had the structure first. That's very true. We should have had, a progression in the sense of we should have had the squad rebuilt and then brought in a manager that could, take us to the next level. But maybe we did it in reverse. Maybe we got that manager that we thought could take us to the next level, and then we are trying to add a structure to support him and also rebuild the squad. And maybe the order of the way they chose to do things wasn't perfect. It wasn't the best choice. And maybe that's part in the reason why we suffered the way we suffered last season. Because we could sit here and say you can coach the talent that you have, right? But at the same time, we already knew that we needed to improve the talent that we have by selling some of them and bringing in fresh blood into the team to give a new spark of energy in different locations on the field. And we could see that, not bringing in, a young, fit, new center back, in the summer window last summer, we paid heavily for that because we didn't really have anyone in the back to depend on this season. So there's a lot of things to go into improving our team, improving our position as we go forward, and we try to make a better start to next season and get a better performance in and grow further into our progress because we want a challenge for the league. And though it might not be possible next season, you never know if we get some quality signings. They may not be the biggest names that are available in the transfer window. They may not be for the biggest prices or have had the best season last season. But they may come into the squad, whoever these players are, that we go in and actually secure. They might come into the squad and improve the squad. And an improved squad, could take us 15 points better next season, 20 points better next season. You never know because you could never really truly measure the impact of all these players that will be possibly coming in with the current players that we have, those who remain and those who leave. So you have to always look at it from a perspective where it can be positive as well as it also could be negative. So it's just looking at the balance. The proof is always going to be in the pudding. You have to wait to see what are the effects, how it happens, how it works out first before you give a determination and say, well, you know, we're in the shit streak. You know what I mean? I don't really feel like making those kind of early predictions and saying like it's just all going to be bad at the beginning without seeing it unfold makes sense. I think you need to also open up to the fact that United aren't the finished article, aren't where we want to be, and we can still get there. It might take us another season, but the road to being back to the dynasty we once was always going to be a long road. The last decade, we have not done things in the right manner. Everything was done in a very kind of unplanned, it was not something that we were doing with a focus. The focus was not really on football. For me, in the last decade, it was more on bragging rights. We have this, we have that, because the squad that we had, sure, a lot of big names, high profile players, and we paid them a lot of money. But the performances that we got for that in return, they weren't all that consistent and they weren't all that great. If you look at the facts of the matter is, before Eric Ten Hag came, for 6 years we hadn't won anything. Small title, big title, domestic title, no titles. We were just there. You know what I mean? This guy came in his first season. We went to two cup finals. We won one. People would say it's a smaller cup, but we also finished third, getting Champions League back. This season we finished eighth, but we won the FA Cup, getting Europa League, and it's not all great, but it's still a positive in the sense that we still maintain the Europe standard. We still maintain the fact that we can still do better and improve. I'm pretty sure people would say, "Where's the progression there?" But I would argue that if you look at other situations that may not be equally comparable, where's the progression if you finish eighth this season and then you finish eighth next season? There's no real progression there. But some people would say that a manager that has done that, they could see what he was trying to do. I would say he was doing the same thing he did the season before. Now, we can argue that Ten Hag's first season, he finished third, and we had one of the best defenses in the league last season. This season, or that defense was mostly sporadic and not really able to be available consistently. And as well, we had an injury crisis. So, I mean, there are lots of reasons where you could argue that, these are factors that could have, dropped our performances levels from where they should have been. You know what I mean? And then, we could assess the performances of the players on the field week in, week out, according to the tactics and, the directions of the manager. And in that perspective, if you look at it, maybe sometimes he got it wrong. Maybe sometimes the players and the manager got it wrong, right? But at the same time, like I keep saying to everyone, this season, the manager is implementing a system. He's going to have to be allowed to make mistakes. The players, on the other hand, they are learning the new system and learning how to function in that new system while being still trying to express themselves for their ability and talent. And you have to look at it like they will also need to be allowed to make mistakes. You know what I mean? And it's true, they're professionals. So we expect them to have a high learning curve, but sometimes it is difficult. So, you have to give it a little time. I just feel like, we went from being able to be patient, having an overachieving season, in the first season, and then going straight into we need to be challenging for everything in the second season, which is something we always tend to do in a situation. You know what I mean? And I feel like, we should take a step back as fans and understand that, maybe we were having our expectations a little bit too high in the second season, based on the fact that we all agreed he overachieved last season with this squad. So let me just bring this one other report, because it was pretty interesting to me, and I know a lot of you are interested in having this target join Manchester United, and it might be coming in up here. Manchester United have had the opportunity to sign Nice duo John Claire Todibo and Kefran Turam on the cheap this summer, right? And the Red Devils were in a market for a new defender, just like I was speaking before about Lenny Euro. But Todibo is a right-footed option, is a priority, and Todibo is the one. The Frenchman was on the club's radar last summer, but did not materialize as they could not recoup transfer funds. The Red Devils have more leeway to spend in July and should look into a deal for Todibo. The former Barcelona man could be available just for £21 million, which represents a considerable bargain in the current transfer market. The 24-year-old is strong ball playing centre back. He completed 74 passes per game with a success rate of 90% last season. Todibo has also won 60% of his duels. He won 2 tackles per outing alongside 3.1 clearances and 7.1 ball recoveries. It appears to be a no-brainer for United to sign him for £21 million this summer. United should also consider an approach for Todibo's teammate, Kefren Turam, who could be available between 17 million and 25 million pounds. The 23-year-old could operate as a central or defensive midfielder. He has caught the eye of with his work rate, high pressing and dribbling. Turam has a passing accuracy of 80% last term, with an average of 1.6 tackles and 4.8 recoveries. He won 50% of all his duels. With speculation over futures of Casemiro and Christian Eriksen, bringing in Thuram seems like a no-brainer again for the reported price. The young duo could be signed for a combined £38 million, and United have a big advantage as co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe also owns Nice, right? Guys, what are your thoughts in the comments? Let me know what you are thinking. You know what I mean? Let's get in the comments. Let me see what let me see what you guys are saying. Big up to you, Stephanie Griffith. First, as usual, I hope you're having a great day. Big up to you, Kenny Fan TV, coming in. Turam from OCG Nice seems to be promising, and he's worth around 20 to 30 million pounds, and he is a DM. Well, like you were on the right track from the beginning, because you knew what the stories were. Mateta United. Big up to you. Big up to you, Dark Girl, coming in. I hope you're having a great one. Big up to you, Luman. Jarvis, what's good, my bro? I hope you're having a good day. Sorry for the late delay today, but you know how it is. Lutata, you never answered my question, though. Big up to you, Stephanie Griffith. 9 likes. You was the first. Smash those likes, people. Help me to get to at least 20 likes, maybe 25. That would be pretty nice. It would help the channel spread around, help people come in and, join the party and enjoy themselves as well. Even if Ten Hag stays, he will have lost his dignity, and Ineos would lose its credibility. Manu Tata, in a way, I think we have lost our dignity as a club for a long time now, because I feel like we bend to the media expectation and to any which way more than before, because I feel like under Alex Ferguson back in those days, we stood tall and we stood firm to our beliefs as a football club and the beliefs of the fans, and we supported like in a synergetic fashion. And I think maybe since the Glazers and their bad management, they've caused a fracture between the club and the fans. And now the media have snuck into that crevice. You know what I mean? And they've inserted themselves between the fans and the club in a way that they feel like they try to influence the club one way, influence the fans another way when it suits their designs. Big up to you guys smashing those likes. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, Lutata, I won't say only a few times he got it right, but everyone has their opinion. You know what I'm saying? This is exactly what we're talking about, Steph. We need tough player mentality, essential team ethic over individuals. You also need players who can also express themselves as individuals while improving the players around them as a team. You know what I mean? Big up to you guys coming in. Big up to you, Luan. Hope you're doing well. How you're doing over there in Canada. Hope it's a great morning and it's it's bright and sunny for you as well, like it is for me. And just going over some of these reports because there's lots of things that are coming out right now. There's also a report that I'm not too sure if you guys might be interested in this report, but it's been reported over the last 24 hours that Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos are considering, removing themselves from owners as niece. And when I don't really want to bring this up right now, really, but I'm just going to include it in the topic. What I was initially going to talk about is the fact that the former Nice head coach Ferruli, he has moved on. He's just about to sign a contract with Ajax Amsterdam to become their head coach for next season. So you're going to be hearing that report releasing probably around Monday, which means that OG Nice is currently looking for a new manager, which means that Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe are also involved in the hunt for a manager for OG Nice. So guys, there's no false reports that OG Nice are talking to the managers, right? But not everyone knows for sure exactly what is their purpose in talking to these managers, because it could be that they are talking to these managers to sign them for OG Nice, as well as it could be they're talking to these managers as possible future replacements for Ten Hag as well. So we're not going to rule out those two things, because you know what? I like to keep the balance, and because I'm optimistic, I always have to look at the positive and negative of things. But yes, this report that has been coming out has been doing some slight rounds around the grounds, and I'm gonna just get right into you to this right real quickly. Manchester United minority owners will look to sell French club Nice in part due to an agreement with UEFA, according to a report. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the founder, chair, and CEO of Ineos, purchased 27% stake in United earlier this year, while he has also owned Nice for the last 5 years. But this conflict of interest comes under scrutiny from UEFA. United and Nice are both due to play in next season's Europa League, but two clubs under the same ownership cannot compete in the same European competition. And although we've heard reports, guys, just pausing from this article, that United have been cleared, right? It is true that they have been cleared, and the article is going to touch on this as well. Through Ratcliffe's stake, United is in line with UEFA's 30% threshold. He has nevertheless been given one season to transition away from one of the clubs he is involved with. The Independent reported that he decided to put Nice up for sale. Ratcliffe is also said to want to focus more on his role at United, who he grew up supporting. Nice's location could help find a buyer. Dan Moulin, a stumbling block for the sale of Nice in French football fee hall, having failed to secure TV rights deal for 2024-25 campaign. But there is hope that the club's Mediterranean location will prove appealing when trying to find a buyer. Several Nice players have been linked with exits amid projections that League One could lose half of its previous 1 billion broadcast revenue. Jean-Claire Todibo has been a long target for United, while midfielder Kefren Turam and goalkeeper Marcin Bulka have also been tipped to leave the Allianz Riviera. United, meanwhile, are still deliberate over the future of manager Eric Ten Hag. Reports previously claimed he would be sacked after the FA Cup final, but after surprisingly beating Manchester City, he remains in a job, and the club have not yet made a decision on whether he will stay on. Guys, what are your thoughts in the comments? Let me know what you're thinking. Do you think this is some interesting news? Oh, it's 6 a.m. and it's kind of gray. Hopefully the sun will rise soon and bring up and brighten up the day, add some color to it so it won't be boring all day. So, guys, as I was reading that article, it strikes me that most people actually don't know what the decision of of Ineos is going to be. They're assuming based on certain reports that have been reported. And you know what? A lot of sources have been sourcing from the same source, and they have not been naming those sources. So, you know, Guys, just pay attention. I think it's more interesting for us to get involved and to leave our energies in terms of the possible players coming in who have actually been linked to United in terms of, a bid has probably going in, or Uniteds are probably into serious talks. I'm going to bring another report to you that some of you may not like. It concerns a striking option that, I know a few weeks ago, it was one of those things where people were hoping not to be the case. Maybe, in late December when it was coming to the January window, I know a lot of people are not too interested in some of the players coming from the Dutch league, but recently I know people are interested in having Matt Sweefer come to Manchester United, and he's a very talented DM as well. But then there's another report that has been doing arounds for quite a few weeks, and Manchester United are facing a major blow with potential pursuit of Ajax striker Brian Brobby. Back in January, the People's Person discussed the Dutch striker's supposed interest in joining Man United. It was further added that the fueling was mutual, with Erik ten Hag also keen on bringing Brobby to the club during the summer transfer window. Last month, the further fuel was added to the fire when Ajax star hinted that United was a great club and therefore a potential transfer destination. However, he mentioned Arsenal and Real Madrid as well. After European Championships, I will be worth 80 million. You gotta love the guy for backing himself, though, people. Signing a player like Robbie could be quite appealing for United fans, particularly due to his undoubted talent that he has shown throughout since a young age. In fact, by the time he was 14 years of age, Robbie's vertical leap exceeded that of Cristiano Ronaldo. Known for his strong physicality and low center of gravity, the 22-year-old has matured into his role up front seamlessly, representing Ajax in the UEFA Champions League last season, 1 goal in 5 matches while bagging 13 goals in 32 Eredivisie matches. This season, he has truly came into the own, scoring 18 goals in 30 Eredivisie games and converting an impressive 21% of his shots, proving just how clinical he is in front of goal. Also worth mentioning that the Rising Stars already 2 Eredivisie titles and a Dutch Cup under his belt. In 2021, he won the league and cup double with Ajax, while in 21-22, he helped Ajax retain the league title by netting 7 goals in just 11 appearances. Reflecting on Bobby's statistics and his growth and influence at Ajax, it's understandable to think why he could be viewed as a suitable signing for United this summer. Add into the mix that Rasmus Højlund is the club's only natural striker at present, and Bobby's transfer becomes even more appealing. Unfortunately, luring the Dutch striker to Old Trafford could prove tricky, given that he revealed in a recent interview, speaking with Ajax Live, he admitted that a transfer this summer appears unlikely following a conversation from Ajax sporting director Martin Brugge. You know, I spoke briefly with Marlon, and he told me that the plans and changes will be within Ajax. Nothing was said to me, but to my agent. Basically, I'm not allowed to leave. We are going to experience it. Bobby explained. While signing a player like Bobby could certainly be an exciting prospect, United will do well to explore other options to avoid disappointment should Ajax be unwilling to change its stance. Guys, with that in mind, I think we've been reported to have made a bid, for a striker like Benjamin Sesko. There have not been actual reports whether that bid was accepted or rebuffed at this time. And I think there are lots of bids that are going to be going in. You're going to hear some of the transfer window starting to kick up around Manchester United, I believe, this week. There are some reports that we might be looking to trigger that option with Anselmino right ahead of the Copa America, so we can, keep his price at a relatively reasonable fee. And that's the young centre back from Boca Juniors, uh, Aaron Anselmino. So, guys, look out for that. There's also some reports that we're going to go back in with another bid for Joao Neves. I'm not too 100% on the figure of that bid, but it's said that the reports are we are definitely testing the waters heavily with intent. There's also some strong interest linking us to some players in Italy. As you know, there's been the talented emergence of Edison at Atalanta in the DM role, and we might be looking at him, as it's been reported that Liverpool are already in talks and the talks are progressing. You could also be sure that United might just dip their noses in that as well. As you know, other targets on the likes of Olise and Arida Bayo are said to be more inclined to Chelsea, and Olise has been in consistent talks recently. There's a possibility that United may have dropped the ball, but there's also a possibility, guys, that maybe he was reportedly a target, but not actually the main target. So, guys, stay tuned for more information. I will be back online tonight with a big stream. I'm coming on with some more scouting, with more concrete information, and a look ahead to what's coming up with the Euros and the Copa America, guys, because as you know, I'm in Germany. We're hosting the Euros. There are quite a few games in my city, so I'm going to be dropping some short streams live around by the watch parties where they're going to be having throughout my city during some of the games and at the stadiums. So, guys, big up to all of you joining me. Thank you so much for being here. It's your boy, MarkN, MUFC fan, with the morning views and morning update. It's not everyone. And I'm just saying this, guys. Be patient. Take your time. Don't stress too much, because whatever is going to happen, it will happen. And everyone, I thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you later.